So when I was asked to do this, I've done some public speaking before, and it was not a big deal. But then when I started to do this was a big deal. So I will do the best I can. First, I want to thank everybody for coming here today as a celebration of the life of my brother Doug. We're here as family and friends. And my name is Rich. I'm Doug's older brother. And as I began to reach out for the right words to express my thoughts about Doug, I remembered the many valued and meaningful roles that he played throughout his life. And they were many and they were varied. First and foremost, Doug was a family man. Although he did go through a couple of divorces in life, he never lost sight of being a great dad to his kids. He absolutely loved them, and he would do whatever he could to be with them and help them where he could. If you knew Doug, and we've had a few conversations here this afternoon about some of the things that Doug liked to do amongst ourselves, and one of the things that Doug liked to do was to fish. Everybody probably knows that. And he enjoyed it the most when he did it with his kids. Living on a pond in New Hampshire for a while was a dream come true for Doug, and probably was one of the happiest periods of his life. Doug also had the entrepreneur spirit. He always would come up with ideas to do something, to make money, to help somebody. I remember how proud he was when he was able to open his own fishing game store. And what's the name of it?
Chill Out.
Chill Out. Chill Out. That was something he dreamed about, and he made it happen, and he loved it. It had to do with fishing. He loved it. Doug was a devoted and loving son to our parents when they were alive. It was hard for him when our dad died, but especially hard when our mother died. And I don't believe that Doug actually ever got over that. He loved our mother very much, and he would do anything to help her, constantly stayed in touch with her to be sure she was okay. My brother and I, growing up together, we were 3 years apart. I'm the older brother. But, we were also good friends. We did a lot of things together that two young boys would do. Did some crazy things, I can tell you that. But it didn't matter what it was we were doing. We enjoyed being with one another. We hung out with mutual friends. We hiked together. We camped together. But whatever it was, we enjoyed being together. Doug was a very sensible kid, and more than one time had to knock some sense into me. I did some stupid things. And he kind of supported me until I realized he was only waiting for me to finish what I was doing so he could run and tell my parents what I was doing. Case in point, don't ask why. We lived on a river, and I thought it was going to be a cool thing to chop this huge piece of ice, which I spent hours doing. And when I finally broke the last piece of ice, and I had this big chunk of ice, I jumped on it and floated down the river. Stupid, right? Stupid. Well, Doug waited till I was floating down the river, and he went up and told my parents I was in big trouble. But lots of things like that. There's so many stories growing up with Doug, but he was a great kid. Doug was also a good friend who cared about people, and it was a joy in his life to be with friends. He always wanted to be with friends or family. And people were drawn to Doug because he was a good person. He had a big heart. He was not pretentious, and he was someone you could count on to be there in time of need. And that really is the definition of a true and genuine friend. And the thing I like about Doug, and others liked about Doug, is what you saw with Doug was who he was. There was no put-ons or anything. He was a real person. As the years went by in Doug's life, he did face many hardships and setbacks, which he dealt with the best he could. Life was not easy for him, and he always tried to figure things out for himself. He didn't want to be an imposition on other people. He was already, even though he was going through many things himself, he was always ready to help somebody else in need. If he ever did ask for help, it was because he desperately needed it. But even though things became hard for Doug, again, he did the best he could. He didn't have a complaining spirit. He always seemed to find something positive in the things that he sentences. I don't know why. This poem thing stuck in my head for many, many years. And it goes this way. It says, 2 men sat alone at night, gazing through their prison bars. One saw mud. The other saw stars. My brother saw stars, and that was something that I admired about him. Doug lived a very simple life, but he was content, and he saw the good in things that he suffered. As I was putting my thoughts together for this, I came to realize that there is no way I can express all the things that shaped who Doug was, all the experiences in life that he had, the wonderful aspects of his life. In many ways, he touched others' lives. But he will be remembered as a wonderful brother, a loving father, a devoted son, and a friend to many. The regret that I have is that I did not see or be with my brother the last couple of years of his life. Please don't let that happen to you. You have a loved one that you have not seen or spoken with in a while. Reach out to that one. Reconnect. Take some time. Be with the ones that you love and are close to you. One of the things that helped me deal with the death of my brother is my faith in what the Bible says. When Jesus' friend Lazarus died, he told his disciples that he was sleeping, that likening death to sleep. Same is true with Doug. He is not suffering or feeling any pain. It is like he is asleep. Jesus subsequently resurrected Lazarus, which gives us the hope that our dead ones are in God's memory. So to conclude, because I'm not going to elaborate anymore, let's celebrate the life of my brother Doug. Share amongst yourselves the stories, and I'm sure there's a lot of stories, with one another about Doug. Do it today, do it tomorrow, do it weeks from now. And think about the good things that Doug's life brought to all of us, and the encouragement and the type of person that he was. He was a good friend, a good father, a good brother. So on behalf of the rest of the family, I'd like to thank you all for coming out here today. Thank you.